Dear students, welcome back to online English classes. A great and beautiful good morning to all of you. Today's class is going to be very important for us. Do you know why? Today we are going to do the second part of the lesson, the Great Stone Face. We are going to join Ernest, the main character of the story, in looking for the man whose face will look like the great stone face. Yesterday, we spoke about two persons. First, Gather Gold, a rich shopkeeper, and second, the general called Blood and Thunder. But Ernest could not find any resemblance between their face and the great stone face. Ernest is not disappointed. He waited patiently for the right person who would fulfill the prophecy. Students, the second part of the lesson begins with Ernest. He is already middle aged and is working for the betterment of the society and world. His head was filled with wise and humble thoughts. People came from faraway places to see him and speak with him. In this way, Ernest gained name and fame even beyond his valley. Students, as Ernest was growing old, a new poet appeared on the earth. He was also a native of Ernest Valley, but spent most part of his life in distant cities. Ernest became a great admirer of that poet. He started reading his poems and was greatly impressed. Ernest really thought that the poet had the face of the great stone face. In the same way, the poet also heard the stories of Ernest and his great character, and he wished to meet him. One summer day, the poet came to the valley and met Ernest. The poet stayed with Ernest for the night. Ernest examined the poet's features and was greatly inspired. He felt that the poet's face looked like the great stone face. But the poet humbly said that he was not worthy to be like the great stone face. On the other hand, the poet praised Ernest. He also listened to his speeches. The poet was greatly impressed and inspired by the life and character of Ernest. The poet found Ernest wiser and better than him. He was truthful, gentle, kind, and possessed all the qualities of head and heart. He declared Ernest to have the likeness of the great stone face. Moreover, Ernest with his white hairs also looked similar to the stone face. All the people agreed with the poet, saying that Ernest himself was the stone face. Who was the stone face? Ernest himself was the stone face. Students, do you see how Ernest becomes the great stone face? He commanded respect in the valley. The neighbors patiently listened to his words. They regarded him as wise and noble. There was no difference between his words and actions. He practiced what he preached. Finally, Ernest gets due recognition from the poet and the great stone face itself. In this way, the prophecy has come true. Ernest himself is the great stone face. He himself is that saintly figure. So, students, let's stop waiting for the great stone face. Let's try to imitate Ernest, the great stone face, possessing the great qualities of head and heart. Students, do you understand the deep meaning and implication of the story? Of course.